Planning a road trip can be overwhelming. In this video, we're going to show you the most important things to know when planning a road trip in Europe. These are our top 9 road trip tips to help you plan the road trips of your dreams. Stick around to the end of the video because we will also be sharing ways that you can go on a European road trip without breaking the bank. Hi, I'm Johlene.
And I'm Teagan. We're a mom and daughter duo that have been traveling around Europe for the last 10 years with our family.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to get more European travel related content.
Europe is beautiful and it's big, and chances are most of your travel bucket list places are in Europe. This means you probably want to see as much as you possibly can in the shortest amount of time. But honestly, all you accomplish is feeling overwhelmed or not enjoying the trip at all. So, tip number 1, don't try to see too much in a short amount of time. Trust me, it's better to see less and actually appreciate those places. Slow living has become a huge part of our lives, and we try to translate that into our travel habits as well. Food on the road can be expensive no matter where you're traveling. In the past, my family and I would rely on rest stops to keep us full along the way, but it would just end up draining out our budget before we even got to the destination, and the food wasn't even that good. So, tip number 2, plan your snacks and food in advance. Pack them yourself or stop by a supermarket close to you and grab some healthy snacks and not so healthy snacks. Have you ever gone on a road trip and when you're miles away from home, or maybe even when you get there, you realize you forgot a super important thing? Something you might have packed once that completely upped your road trip game, something you swore you would pack on every trip, but you forgot. Again. I cannot tell you how many times this has happened to me, and I always say I need to write it down or make a list, and I eventually just forget. So tip number 3, make a fixed essentials packing list of things you always pack. Things you can't travel without no matter where you go. By the way, check out the description for our ultimate road trip planner template with all the packing lists and planning resources you might need. If that is something you might be interested in, check it out. Okay, on with the video. Imagine planning a beautiful summer picnic, looking over a stunning view of the French Riviera. You put on your cute sandals, a light floral dress, and you head over to your dream picnic spot you heard about online. Only to get there and there is a huge thunderstorm and you need to eat your food while sitting in the car, trying to hide from the storm. Yes, this happened to us. We assumed because it was sunny where we were staying and it was summer that nothing could go wrong. And obviously it did. We had a good laugh about it in the end, but something tells me a sunny picnic would have been a better experience. So tip number 4, stay updated on the weather in your destinations daily. We recommend using Meteo Blue. It has been so far the most reliable weather app we've used. Although Google or the app on your phone should work just fine. Okay, I know I've said this before, but Europe really is beautiful. So our advice, take the scenic route as much as you can. You might take a bit longer to get from point A to point B, but it will be worth it. On the plus side, the scenic route usually avoids tolls, so it saves you some money. If you travel as a family, I am sure you've heard things like, "Are we there yet?" or "I'm bored." We usually travel with a teenager, and if he's not entertained in some way, you best believe he's going to complain. Ask them to go on Google and find a cool restaurant for lunch, get them to start a fun vlog of the trip to look back on one day, or even make a playlist for the car that everyone can sing along to. Whatever it is that might help your kids enjoy all aspects of the trip and keep them entertained. And this actually brings me to my next point. Kids aren't the only ones who get bored on the long open road. It can happen to us adults too. I know I am no better than a teenager after we've been driving for 4 hours straight. So tip number 7, pack entertainment. Download some movies on Netflix or some YouTube videos, pack a book, listen to music, whatever floats your boat, but just make sure you're prepared. You can only talk and bond with your family for so long, if you know what I mean. Like I said, road trips can be fun, but also long. So tip number 8, take breaks. Switch drivers every now and then, stop to stretch your legs, or even pack things like neck pillows and back pillows. Just make sure you will be comfortable, especially during those long stretches. And last, but certainly not least, before we get into the bonus budget road trip tips, make stops if necessary. Make the best of all the beautiful little villages along the way that aren't necessarily on your itinerary. Use this time to bond with your family or partner or whoever your road trip buddy is. Tip number 9, simply enjoy the journey. It sounds cliche, but it really is all about the journey and not the destination. That's the beauty of choosing a road trip over other means of travel. If it was all about the destination, why take a road trip? You could just hop on a flight and that's that. And now, we did promise you some bonus tips on how to make your road trip more cost effective, so here you go.
Tip number 1, avoid peak season. Europe is beautiful all year round, so you can't go wrong by traveling in off-peak season.
Tip number 2, avoid touristy areas. Try to find accommodation a little bit further away from the center of where you're staying, but don't go too far. You don't want to have to pay for the difference in transport to be able to get to the city center. Similar to the last tip, tip number 3. Avoid tourist areas when it comes to choosing a restaurant. Those are usually expensive, they have bad service, and the food isn't even that great. Just walk 5 minutes away from the touristy areas. You'll see the reviews go up and the quality is higher.
Tip number 4, pack less to save on fuel cost. We all know, the heavier your car is, the higher the fuel bill. The difference isn't massive, but it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Tip number 5, budget for tolls. These can get pretty pricey, especially during the long distance drives. But if you choose the route on Google Maps that avoids the tolls, you can go through the Scenic route. It takes a lot longer, but it's worth it.
Tip number 6, get familiar with the road signs in the area you're traveling, as well as the speed limits. This would eliminate getting fines. There's nothing worse than losing a big chunk of your budget on an innocent mistake.
Number 7, make sure you have a proper mobile data plan. Whether you're from outside of Europe or not, there are certain countries like Switzerland or Monaco where the roaming charges are astronomical. So keep a lookout for that.
That's it from us, you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check out the links in the description with all our favorite road trip essentials. And also check out the road trip planner if that's something you think you'll need. Don't forget to subscribe for more travel and road trip related videos.
Adios!
Bye!